Today I'd like to talk to you about mindfulness. So the definition of mindfulness is that it's the awareness that emerges through paying attention on purpose in the present moment and non-judgmentally to things as they are. So that's a lot harder to do than it sounds. Basically, when we look at things in the present moment, we are affected by all the things that have happened in our past. So whatever experiences we had in the past will be projected onto the present. An example is if you sat beside a girl in school called Aisling with curly red hair and she was nice to you, and then you meet another Aisling with curly red hair, it'll be similar enough that you will project those childhood feelings onto the person in front of you. And they might be nice, warm, positive feelings because you had good feelings towards this person in the past. However, if you sat beside a girl called Ashley with curly red hair and she wasn't that nice, or maybe she was really mean to you, then when you meet someone like that in the future, you'll have negative feelings or you'll clench muscles. And these projections are so profound, and there's so many of them, and they're so everywhere, that it can be as simple as if you had a grandmother who loved the colour purple and wore it a lot, and she was really nice to you, you might have positive feelings. You might notice purple, certain shades of purple, like your granny's coat, for example. You might notice that shade of purple, and you might have good feelings when you spot it. If you had a gran with a purple coat who was very nasty to you and harsh on you and maybe gave out to you a lot, then if you even catch that shade of purple in the background somewhere, you might have these feelings that are just a little shiver go through you. So we are constantly seeing things in the present that trigger memories from the past and experiences from the past. In particular, if those past memories and experiences haven't been fully dealt with, they will come back more often. They will come regularly. So when we try and look in the present moment at things as they are, we're actually looking at a lot of stories and ideas from the past. And we do that, it's a protective measure. It helps us to see what might go wrong or to judge a situation and to stay safe. It's really important, it's really helpful. It also means that we don't have to relearn everything over and over and over again. So a lot of this is helpful and important. However, it can also hinder us because we can get caught up in things that happened in the past that may not be good for us to be projecting into the present. Okay. This can be difficult for us because we can misinterpret situations based on our past experiences. In fact, that's something that we do a lot. We will misinterpret our past, we will misinterpret the present based on the past regularly. We can be afraid of things if they're not scary. We can be trusting in things, but they might not be safe. An example is if you had a very kind uncle who was very nurturing and you always felt safe and trusting with him, and then you became friends with someone who was very like this uncle. So they were so alike, you just feel the same way as you would have felt around your uncle. However, this person might not be safe and might be trying to con you out of something. So to try and be mindful is actually really difficult because we will have all of these projections. But we can learn about it. We can learn to see our projections and we can learn to clear things up and be more in the present moment. The present moment is often tainted by worries about the future, things that we need to do. So we're future planning, thinking about the future, or things from the past that didn't get resolved or that we didn't deal with. So we are often either thinking about the past or worrying about the future or planning for the future. So in trying to be in the present moment, you're trying not to think about the past, not to plan for the future, and just to see what's happening here and now. And here and now can often be quite relaxed, quite easygoing. Like often our stresses come from worrying about the future or going around in our heads about the past. I should have said this, I should have done that. Next time I'll do it this way, you know. Mindfulness comes from the Indian word sati, which means awareness, attention and remembering. To do it, we break it down into 3 sections. So we break mindfulness down into 3 parts. So the first is to pay attention. And that is paying attention to whatever it is that you're planning to pay attention to. So if some people will pay attention to their breath and really feel the sensations and the experience of the movement and how the body is when you breathe. Some people will pay attention to a meditation, so they'll follow a guided meditation or a guided story. Some people will do a body scan. They'll feel the sensations throughout their body as they go through their body and see what's going on there. Some people will pay attention to the sea, listen to the sounds of the sea, watch the sea, or nature, or the trees, or animals, and that will be the thing that they're focusing on. So mindfulness is about paying attention, focusing on something, and really sticking with that focus. And the next part of it is being in the present moment, which means to try and be really clear in this moment on what you're seeing without your past being projected on it or without your expectations being projected on it, just seeing it for what it is. And then finally, it's about being non-reactive. So not thinking that this should be one way or another way, that I should be peaceful, that I should be relaxed. Just accepting whatever the experience is when you stop to be mindful. So often people will get caught up in that. They'll want a certain thing out of their mindfulness practice. They'll want to be really relaxed, really peaceful. And sometimes when you stop and become present, you see that actually you're very stressed, or you're upset, or you're angry, or you're sad. And part of the mindfulness is just accepting that that is what is there in this moment. And the very nature of accepting is actually relaxing and peaceful in itself. Accepting is peaceful. Sometimes you might have anger or fear or anxiety inside, but you can also have acceptance at the same time. So you're processing these emotions whilst feeling peaceful at the same time. And over time, you will end up feeling more peaceful, but maybe you need to process this other emotion first. So just accepting whatever it is that's there. So again, mindfulness is paying attention in the present moment and not reacting to what you find there, allowing whatever is there to be there and just acknowledging that, accepting it for what it is, not trying to be something other than who you are or what you are in a given moment. Mindfulness is about being non-judgmental, and really it's very difficult to be non-judgmental, to not have an opinion about something, because that's what we do all the time. That's part of our protective mechanisms. We judge and we expect things to be this way or that way, and we project onto things. So trying to let go of that judgment, even acknowledging you have a judgment but letting go of the fact that you have a judgment. So that would be kind of like judging and not judging at the same time. Acknowledging that there is that sense there, but letting that go so it's not really there as much. Judgments are part of our past conditioning, and trying to let them go and just be clear on what's happening in the moment is part of the aim of mindfulness. Another thing is to be open-hearted, to bring a kindness, a compassion, a warmth and a friendliness to your mindfulness experience. So I often think that in mindfulness there's like 2 sides. There's the acceptance side, and then there's the mindful, the present side, but there's also the kindness. We need acceptance and we need kindness with it. So if you're being hard on yourself or harsh on yourself in trying to be mindful, then that's quite hurtful. It's pulling you back from being in the present. Whereas if you're being kind, allowing yourself to be where you are, being gentle with yourself, it makes the whole experience more healthy, more supportive of you. And really, I think that's the way we need to go. We need to be kind to ourselves. Why not be kind to yourself? Why should you be harsh or critical on yourself? So that kindness towards yourself, when you fill yourself with kindness, it's very easy to share that kindness with others and come from a very genuine, caring place. Some people think that mindfulness is about not thinking about anything, and that's not really true. Often we can get overly identified with our minds. We think that this mind is who I am. This is whatever it says is the truth, and this is what I have to follow. But the reality is that the mind it's just a creative tool. It's always coming up with new things, or it can come up with new things. Sometimes it goes over and over and over the same thing and ruminates, but really it can be a very creative tool. So I don't think we all take our minds seriously all of the time, and I think it's really healthy to be aware of the fact that we don't take our minds seriously, and to really elaborate that a bit more, or to pay more attention to that. For example, if I was really angry, and it could be really angry with someone I love very much because maybe they broke something of mine that I love also very much, and I could be very angry with them, or I might think a nasty thing about someone who's really hurt me. But then I might not mean it. I might be best friends with them again the next day. But in that moment, I'm so angry or so upset that I start thinking these negative thoughts. And the thoughts are just expressions of how I'm feeling. For example, if I feel really overwhelmed with stress, or there's just too much of everything happening, and I might want everything to end. I might want the world to end, my life to end. But that's just because I can't cope with this overwhelming emotion. It might not necessarily mean that I actually want the world to end. It might just mean that I'm not coping right now. I'm overwhelmed right now. And my thoughts are giving me visuals that express how emotionally I'm feeling. I don't have to take those thoughts seriously. I don't have to go and do any of the things that come into my head. Some people have amazingly creative minds with fabulous visuals and images, and they can create all kinds of wonderful images. And certainly you wouldn't want to take all of those seriously or think that that is all that you are, because you're so much more than that. Sometimes the thoughts are so overwhelming that they're here, and it feels like your thoughts are here sort of taking over your whole being. And in mindfulness, there's something about learning how to make a space from you and your thoughts. You can observe your thoughts. It's a mindful technique sometimes to watch your thoughts, to see, what is my mind thinking? Where is it going? What's it saying now? And it goes around and round, and it goes over here and over there, and your mind says all this stuff. So watching your mind, not taking your mind so seriously that you think that it's all that you are, or that you have to completely believe it. You don't. You have another part of you that makes judgments on your thoughts, that agrees or disagrees with your thoughts, or works with your thoughts to develop them in some way. So mindfulness meditation, it's not about emptying your mind and stopping your thoughts, although you can get to a state in meditation where your thoughts, your mind can become at one with the experiences in your body, so that your mind is attuned to your feeling and your breathing. And that can seem like you're not thinking, but your mind is just really connected to what's happening in your body. But equally, you can have meditation where your thoughts are still happening, but they're kind of over here. Like, don't forget I need food, and you have to get the shopping, and don't forget to do the dishes. This kind of stuff that comes into your head when you're trying to meditate. And you could, let's say you're doing a meditation on your breathing. So you're focusing on your breathing, you're feeling the sensations in your breath, in your body as you're breathing. And your mind is like, you must go shopping, I need food. And rather than stop focusing on your breathing, you can allow this to happen simultaneously. You can have more attention paid to the breath. You can be really focused on the sensation of breathing, and your mind might be saying some things, and you might not be paying so much attention to your mind. So you're not fully connected to your mind, fully invested in your mind. You're not getting lost in your thoughts. You're focusing on the things that you're planning on focusing on, but your mind still might be saying stuff, and you're not paying that much heed to it. So mindfulness, again, is not just about emptying your thoughts, but it can be about not getting as involved in your thoughts, making more space between you and your thoughts. Your thoughts have a very big impact on how you feel, and the decisions that you make about paying attention to your thoughts can be very helpful in managing your emotions. The overall aim of mindfulness is not about just becoming more relaxed. It's about being aware of what your reality is in the moment. So if you're tense, mindfulness is being aware of that tension. Where do you feel tense? What's the colour, the shape, the texture of that tension? What's your reaction to this tension? What are your thoughts around it? When you do this regularly, it helps you to understand your mind, your emotions, your thought processes clearer and better so that you can manage them better going forward. There are two types of ways of doing mindfulness or meditation. So there's one that's called informal meditation, and I think this is a really good one to get used to or to practice regularly. So informal meditation is finding things or times during the day when you can take a breath or relax or try and come into the present moment. So I knew someone once who had a very busy job and there was always a lot of people around, and she wanted to have some mindful moments during the day to stop her stress levels from accumulating. So as the day went on, she'd get more and more and more stressed, and by the end of the day she'd be a big bag of stress, and she wanted to find times during the day to unravel, but she couldn't find any. And then eventually she realised that at some point every day she would run up and down the stairs where she worked. And she realised that she did this quite a lot. And when she was on those stairs, there was nobody talking to her, nobody distracting her. So this became her place of mindfulness every day. And when she would go onto that stairwell to run up and down, she would still run up and down the stairs. She wouldn't stop running. But when she went onto the stairs, as soon as she touched the door to go through, she would relax her neck and shoulders, breathe a bit deeper, relax her legs, and as she ran up the stairs and ran back down, she would feel the sensations in her body as she was running. So she would become very mindful, very still, very present, and very calm, but still running up and down stairs. And she found that by doing that throughout the day, that by the end of the day, she was way less stressed and way more relaxed. So people will find all kinds of things to trigger them. I know people that get into their car a lot, and what they will do is, as soon as they put the key in the ignition, they will take 3 breaths and just relax and become present and then go about their journey. Or some people, a lot of people, will do it when they go to the bathroom. They will relax in the bathroom, that's a place where nobody comes at them and they can focus and they can take some deep breaths. Many people will use apps on their phone or on their computer that will go off. A certain bell will sound every hour or every 2 hours, and when that bell sounds, they will maybe get a piece of paper, write down where they're at, or stop, finish what they're doing, and then take a couple of minutes and take a few deep, slow breaths, relax the neck and shoulders, relax the body. So I keep saying take deep breaths, and I realise that not everybody is aware of how to take a deep breath. So sometimes I say to people, take a deep breath, and they go, and that's it. A deep breath goes down into the base of the lungs. So you breathe in into the lungs and then you breathe out really slowly. And as you slowly breathe out, you relax your neck and shoulders, arms, legs, face muscles, and even your eyebrows, because people tend to clench their eyebrows. So we'll do one together, a deep breath in and a slightly slower breath out. So it's like this. And you can use that exhalation to relax the body, to feel the body sinking, getting heavier, relaxing all your muscles. Do a quick scan of your body as you breathe out. So that's informal meditation. Some people do it when they're eating their food. They try and really taste the food, really chew the food well. Or some people, when they're going for a walk, they feel the sensations in their feet as they walk, or they look around at all the things around them as they're walking and really pay attention to everything and take their environment in. Some people use sound, so you could sit by the sea and listen to the sounds of the waves coming in and out. That can be informal meditation as well. And then formal meditation, on the other hand, is a set time and plan and structured way of doing your meditation every day, or whatever days you choose to do it. Some people have a set space, a set room, a set cushion they sit on, a set amount of time where they do a body scan, breathing techniques. Some people do mindful yoga. I mean, yoga is really supposed to be a kind of a meditation in motion, movement and meditation in motion. It's supposed to be about coming into the body, relaxing into the body and being really present. So whichever way you want to do mindfulness, I mean, ideally I think it's good to try and have some informal meditation every day, and maybe have some times during the week where you do some formal meditation as well. Why would we do mindfulness? The research on mindfulness has been very positive and interesting. It seems to help to battle depression, battle anxiety. It helps reduce our stress levels, reduce physical pain, improve our sleep, and increase our dopamine levels, which are good, happy, healthy hormones that we want in the brain. So there's a lot of research that indicates that practicing mindfulness helps us to deal with our stress, deal with difficulties in life, and just be better and healthier overall. Mindfulness is something that grows and evolves the longer you practice it. So it's important to be patient and to take your time. Often people expect to get there very quickly, and I think it's something that, like going to the gym to build up your muscles, you have to work at it. The more you practice a skill, the better you get at it, and it's the same with mindfulness. The more you practice it, the more it will start to work for you. And at different times in your life, it may be easier or more difficult. Sometimes it's about just observing your thoughts, or observing your stress, or observing your anxiety. When training the mind to be attentive, we need to be gentle, or the mind becomes less attentive. That's why mindfulness requires a kindness about it. If you're too harsh to your mind will just reject or rebel against you. So we need to be kind to the mind, we need to be kind to ourselves in order for it to work. Like if you try and force yourself to be relaxed, that very act of trying and pushing takes you away from being mindful. So it's like we have to have the intention to be present and mindful, but not push it on us, because the act of pushing takes it away from us. It's almost a letting go into the present. The intention of letting go into the present, as opposed to pushing yourself to be something that you're not. There's an allowing us to be where we are in this present moment. So I'm going to finish this talk with a quote from the Buddha that says that the secret of life for the mind and the body is not to mourn for the past, not to worry about the future or to anticipate troubles, but to live in the present moment wisely and earnestly. So I have attached a couple of meditations or mindfulness meditations with this. So if you'd like to stop now and listen to some of those. Thank you.